Hi everyone, I'm Anne and today I'm just going to talk about my story. I was born in Uganda, Kampala in 1985, so don't try calculating my age. And basically I grew up in different cities, even though within Uganda.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Saturday talk show with your host Amy, and I'm so excited because I'm joined with Anne, and we've got such an amazing story for you guys today. It's going to be really good. Anne, she's a mum, she's a wife to be, she's a new launched author.
Yes.
So she will be releasing her book in August. We get to talk a little bit about that later on. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, my journey started in Uganda, Kampala. That's where I was born in 1985. It's a bit of a different stories because I moved from city to city. So you get to hear it in my book. But that's been a bit of my journey, and then I moved to the UK when I was 13 years old, going on 14. So that's where my story has really began from. My childhood, even though I grew up in Uganda, like my family, they moved to the northern part of Uganda. So we went through war and stuff like that. And then, one of the villages that I ended up living in were a bit homeless for like a few days, even though like my granddad was like wealthy compared to what other people would call wealthy. So we slept outside and he had to, like build us a house while we waited. So it was a bit of that, and then also a bit of like different things, going to school and not having your parents around, having to live with like extended family. So, and then I grew up, when I was about 10, 11, I didn't really know my age for a long time until I came to the UK.
Wow,
so
really?
Yeah, because like my parents, I didn't live with my parents, so they didn't have that, instilling that identity, so to speak. So I didn't know my age for a long time because I didn't celebrate my birthday.
Wow.
So things like that. Yeah.
Is that you didn't celebrate it because you couldn't, or was it, why? Because it's, living in this modern world, in this country, like everybody celebrates their birthday, and so if you was to meet like an ordinary child, they'll say I'm 7 or I'm 10, so it's quite a common thing. But coming from a background like that, to not be able to know your age.
Yeah, I think it wasn't something like it was acknowledged. We only ever celebrated Christmas and New Year, so that's how you knew like it was the next year. But your age, nobody really celebrated their birthdays, so it wasn't something that it was normal, like it was everybody. Yeah, so that's kind of the things that some of the things that I grew up with. And then I lived also like in a boarding school. So because my dad asked me like what school would you like to go to, because he was in the UK, so I decided that I wanted to go to a boarding school. And so in boarding school, like a lot of people know, your parents are obviously not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're pretty much on your own with students.
So how was your experience in boarding school?
It's what I call interesting. Because obviously not having your parents there, and so you're pretty much taking care of yourself, even though you like have matrons who play the role of your mom and your dad and stuff, but you had to look after yourself. Luckily I had a brother, so he pretty much looked after me. And it was interesting, as in you got up to no good like sometimes. So yeah.
So did you get up to no good, or?
Yes, I did. I did get up to no good. I mean, like some of the things that I got into, like stealing and stuff, taking people's things, and playing pranks on people, and sometimes coming out of school, like you have to go and get water and things like that. So, because sometimes the electricity would come off, and water would stop running, so you'd have to go to a different place to go and get water. So all that kind of lifestyle, and also like we had visiting Sundays and stuff like that, but where your family could come, but then again it's like my family didn't come sometimes, so you had to go through the whole like getting beatings and learning how to
beating from your family.
No,
from the teachers.
The teachers. So it's like
because your family didn't come.
No, because you don't have the resources that you need for school.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so you'd have to go through that whole issue and stuff like that. But eventually they come, but then they come late. So it's like you have to explain, and the teachers don't get it. So it's like if you go to your maths lesson, for example, and you don't have your books, or you go to English lesson and you don't have like your books for like the next specific topic, they're not going to like necessarily understand that, oh, I don't have money to buy that. So yeah.
I mean, at 12 and you're stealing and you're doing all of that stuff, and now you're coming to 30 and you're building your own business, and you're learning etiquette, really, isn't it? And you're learning to strive and build for your own money, really, and building your own income.
Yeah.
Did you ever imagine that you would be in this position?
Not really.
What did you want to be when you was younger?
Well, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a teacher. So like, children do role plays and stuff, so I was always in the position of wanting to be a teacher. So that's and then so when I went to college and stuff like that, I was striving to have my own school eventually. And so like having my own nursery school. But then when I started going to college, I changed my mind. I always wanted to be a travel researcher because I like traveling. So I was like, okay, how can I put all like my passion in different things, even though I like to be a teacher and stuff like that, but I also want to be a travel researcher. So I thought, okay, this is how it's gonna play out. I'm just gonna go and be one of those nannies on a boat. So I have my own businesses, but like my own business, childcare business, but working on a boat. So you stop off in different countries, see different places. So yeah, that's what I wanted to.
So you've always had that from a young age.
Yeah.
The desire to do business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're gonna go on a short break. You've heard a little bit about Anne's background, coming from a war background of being in the midst of the war, not having anything, coming from Uganda. Now she's here in the UK, building her business. So when we come back, we're just gonna get a little bit deeper in there, get deeper into the background. So stay tuned and get to hear what Anne has to say. Okay, welcome back. So you're with Anne, and this is Amy, your host. So Anne was just telling us a little bit about her background, and I want to get a little bit more deeper because I want to know really behind Anne and where did Anne come from, and what things that she's dealt with. She has dealt with, we was counting. We only got to 4, but I'm sure there's more than 4. What can I call them? Categories of things that she has overcome and dealt with.
Like Amy said, we went through a count of 5, but I chose to pick one of the most popular topics that a lot of people are dealing with at the moment, and a lot of people it's a misconception or almost like a taboo, but it's a lot of things that a lot of people are out there and they're battling with at the moment. The topic that we're going to dive into, or that we've dived into, is homosexuality. And so what's it called? It started when I think I was about 5-ish or 5, 6, around that age, because I don't really remember celebrating my birthday. So I don't really I never used to celebrate my birthday. So like I said in the first topic, this first set, I was sexually abused. Like, I started getting into sexual things, like with one of my family members, and
was it like a close family member? Or?
Yeah, it was a close young family member, but obviously older than me. So she was like in her 20s. It was a girl. So I never really like questioned it, like.
So it's okay. So you have this family member. I mean, is it someone that is always in a house? Is it someone that you regularly know? Is it someone that you chill out with, or?
She's not always in the house because we never lived in the same house, but we lived in the same compound.
Were you close?
Yeah, we were close because obviously she's my mom's stepsister. So because I come from a really big family background, so my granddad had 4 wives, so it's one of the children from one of the 4 wives. So it started off like that, as in just doing sexual things with her, and then.
Okay, so because like, how did it begin? What was the first step, or what was the first encounter? Like, break it down, because it obviously doesn't just happen.
Yeah.
Like that. What was the first approach to it?
I mean, I think like when she just suggested it, and then we just started doing stuff. And then it's like, because you never really question that kind of act, so you just see like, okay, obviously what relationship is supposed to be like, husband and wife.
At 5 years old?
Well, you see mom and dad, you know like mom and dad, but you don't really know full of life, the full story of what life holds and stuff like that. So that's how it started. We just started as an act, and then not questioning it, and then it kept accelerating, and then it became a normal thing, because obviously.
So did it become like a regular thing?
Yeah.
Then? Would you regularly meet? Did she come to your house, or?
Not in the house, but like toilets, compound toilets and stuff like that.
Was that in boarding school?
No.
Okay, this was just
school. That was home environment. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone that you would trust, obviously, because it's someone that is a part of the family. They approach you with this idea.
Yeah.
At that time, are you agreeing to it? Are you going along with the flow?
Yeah.
Was she much older?
Yeah,
person?
she was. Yeah, she was much older. She was like, I think she was either 19 or like in her early 20s or something like that.
Early 20s, and she was only 5 years old.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So you started to continue. Then you was engaging in different activities.
Yeah.
Was it always with the same person?
Yeah, always with the same person. And then obviously when I moved to different cities, so that stopped. But then it started off again, like when then I became like the villain, so to speak.